Today we're going to be talking about aspirational and detrimental personas as it relates to associating people in different categories depending on the specific result that we're looking to obtain. So, aspirational personas are basically people, other people like your prospect who you want your prospect to be like. Detrimental personas are personas, so people that you don't want your prospect to be like. So people who effectively don't buy. People who don't buy, people who are afraid, who make the wrong decisions. You want to negatively associate those people so your prospect doesn't identify with them, number one. And number two, leads them away from making those types of excuses when we get to the point at the end of the sale when we want them to essentially buy. Aspirational personas are people that are ambitious. For example, they want to pursue their dreams, they're confident, they take risks, they're courageous, things of this nature that you want your prospect to embody, right? So the character traits you want your prospect to embody, and we're trying to make those types of associations so they can see that they're actually this person and they're a perfect fit for whatever it is that you're offering, especially if it's a product or a service that is not necessarily something like a wallet or something, anything that's purely utilitarian. I mean, obviously you can sell this as like a lifestyle item, for example, but you want to make sure that you are regarding your prospect in a positive light. So that way, you know that they're coming to you with a problem. So whatever solution that you're offering is not going to be something that you should feel guilty about or feel skittish about. If you know for a fact that the solution that you're offering is indeed a solution, it's actually helpful, then you owe it to your prospect, you owe it to your potential client to do everything in your power to get them to see that this is the right solution, because why else would they be there? Your prospect is only there because they see that there is a problem. So aspirational personas, detrimental personas. So what you're essentially doing here is you're speaking to your prospect and you're giving them examples of other people who are like them. When I say who are like them, which means if you're speaking to, let's say, an older woman with kids, ideally you want to have a client or have worked with people who are older women with children. Now, if you don't have that client avatar, if you haven't worked with a prospect like the prospect that you're speaking to, well then, hey, it is what it is, and you just have to kind of roll with it and give different examples of people who share other qualities, other traits with your prospect that you can get them to relate with. And similarly with detrimental personas, you want to make sure that you're putting that person in a position where they can say, oh, I'm not like this person at all. You want to get them to kind of believe that they could be this person who would be afraid or who would make the wrong decision or who took a wrong turn, because we need to be able to see ourselves in everybody else. Because fundamentally, we all share the same experiences. We all feel fear, we feel love, joy, anticipation, regret. Like we all have the same emotions. So we want to get them to feel like whatever it is that we're associating with them, they're not feeling like it's so different, it's so separate from their experience that they can't even relate to what it is that you're saying. So whatever you're saying has to be relatable to them, or you have to make it relatable to them so they can feel, oh, wow, you know what? You're right. Like, I am this person, or I could be like this person in a positive way or a negative way. Now, again, you're doing this to help them. You're not doing this to manipulate them, because at the end of the day, remember that they're there because they have a problem, and they're in front of you because your solution could potentially be the solution to their problem. So if you're selling a quality product, a quality service, and you know that you are, then as I said, you owe it to them to do everything in your power to get them to see that that is actually in their best interest. So this is how you're using these two different concepts, aspirational personas, detrimental personas, to help your client move in the right direction. So essentially you could think of it like a gap, right? So on the one hand, you have the direction moving upward. So aspirational personas, right? People that the person that they want to become effectively, right? Or a person who they are that they want to be more of, right? I want to be more loving. I want to be more courageous. I want to, be more confident, or whatever the case is. And the other qualities that you want them to move, and they want to move away from, which is, moving from fear, staying in your comfort zone, being being concerned with every little thing to the point where it paralyzes you into inaction, right? So these are the things that they want to move away from, and these are the things that you want them to move towards, which means that you're getting them in this, they're kind of like in this middle space in a sense. So you're getting them to move away from here, but you want them to move in a specific direction. So it's not just generally, like doing one or the other, right? It's a combination of both. And the reason you want to combine both is because what's more powerful than being pulled in a direction? Well, it's being pushed, right, from behind to move in that direction. And likewise, what's more powerful than just being pushed away from somewhere? Well, being pulled in the direction that you want to go. So you're using two forces. You're using the pulling force and the pushing force. So it's very powerful when you're using both of these tactics: aspirational personas, detrimental personas. And what you're doing is you're talking to the person, you're talking about other people. You're not talking about your prospect directly, because when you say you and you, it can be very, it feel a little bit uncomfortable for the prospect. So they feel kind of pressure, even if it's positive pressure, and especially negative pressure, where it feels like you're talking to them. And so instinctively, sometimes guards will go up, walls will go up, because they want to protect themselves, because they have like their own identity. But when you're putting the pressure off and you're talking about, well, John or Mary or this other person that I've worked with who is kind of exhibiting the same qualities that you're showing me on this call, they, and then XYZ or other people in your position, or a lot of my other clients also do XYZ. And you're like, oh, wow, other clients and other people. So we are getting them to associate or disassociate from other people, right? Associate with other people who are like them, disassociate from other people who they don't want to be like, because maybe they are some of these things, but we don't want them to identify with those things, because those are the things that would get them to go somewhere else or to not take action. Listen, the reason you're friends with people is because you like them, you are like them in some way, or you want to be like them, you admire them in some way. So if a friend of yours exhibits a quality that you admire, I do this with my friends all the time, because I genuinely love my friends and I care about my friends, and I want them to know, hey, listen, what I notice throughout our friendship is that you're always willing to try something new. You're always willing to do the new thing, and it's paid off for you. And you're inspiring for me. You're inspiring for me because you're leading me by example. You're a beacon for me. And I'm so genuine with my words, because I genuinely feel that way. So when you're actually genuinely feeling what you're saying, the other person is going to feel it. Because the thing is that when you're saying all of these positive things, you're also implying that they're not the other thing. They're not the polar opposite of whatever you're describing. Like, what I noticed about you, man, is you never stay in your comfort zone. You don't let fear control you. And I could see that because, 5 years ago, we were here, we were doing this, but because of all the decisions that you made, like, your life is completely different. And also, it's not only your life is different, but it's like you have been evolving and we've been evolving together. And I'm just so blessed to be on this journey with you, so we can grow together and help each other out and synergistically go to places we've never been before. So it's a team. This is a team effort, because with your friends, with your family, you're together. You're a team, right? You're synergistically growing and becoming better people. You're evolving together. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of the most beautiful things on this planet. So we're just taking the things that we do naturally as human beings and just systematizing it so we can do it with our prospects. Because if we forget this, then we're going to treat our prospects kind of like these objects that we're carefully trying to manipulate and transactionally control. But if you're genuinely, being like this with your prospect, then you can kind of let them, you're putting the ball in their court based off of other people's results. These are the types of qualities that I'm observing in them, either positive or negative. And you're kind of getting them to see, okay, well, is this possible? And you're coaching them through it. Because again, you're also a mindset coach when you're on these sales calls, because these people, oftentimes, they have never bought the thing that you're selling, or they don't necessarily know how to buy. So you're teaching them how to buy the thing. You're teaching them what specific criteria they should be looking for externally, so within the product or service, and also internally within themselves, so they could take full advantage of your solution.